TOPS Professional Lockbox Payment Distribution. This course will cover alternate methods of distributing lockbox payments to owners outside of the standard cash application table. We will go over using the Lockbox cash application table as well as creating unposted cash receipt batches from a lockbox file. We'll begin by clicking on Global and then Lockbox. When owner payments are processed through the TOPS Lockbox, the application of those payments to the owner charges follows the community's standard cash application table, which gets set up during the initial community setup process. This cash application table can be accessed later through the TOPS Setup menu. For the purposes of this training session, we'll be dealing with a lockbox file that contains some communities with special assessment payments. The first example will be for a community where their entire portion of the lockbox file only has payments for the special assessment. Within the TOPS Lockbox, you can create an additional cash application table which can be used if you know that all of the payments for a specific community within the lockbox file you're importing should be distributed to the owner charges in a different order than your standard cash application table, such as when all payments should be applied to the special assessment charge rather than the standard owner charges. To set up this lockbox cash application table, click on the Setup menu within the Lockbox window, and then click Cash Application Table. This will open up the Lockbox Cash Application Table window. Listed in this window will be all communities with a Lockbox ID. If there is no Lockbox ID set up for a community, then that community will not display here. The information on this screen includes the community ID, community name, Lockbox ID, whether the Lockbox cash application table is in use for the community, and if so, what bank account the payments will be posted to. In order to set up or modify a Lockbox cash application table, select the community and then click Setup. This window is similar to our standard cash application table. The first thing we'll do is choose the bank account that the owner payments should post to. We'll choose bank number 2, which is the account for our special assessment, and then click OK. Next, we'll check the box so that payments will only apply to the codes that we set up on this table. If this box were to remain unchecked, then the payments would follow this cash application table first, and then any overpayments would get applied following our standard cash application table. Next, we'll need to choose the AR charge codes that the payments will get applied to. To do this, we'll click on the drop-down arrow next to Code, then choose the charge code for our special assessment, and click OK. At this point, you can continue to add codes to this cash application table, but since we're only applying the payments to the special assessment in our example, there is no need. Our next step is to choose the prepaid code for the application of overpayments. Again, since we want all payments to go to the special assessment, then we'll choose the PPC2 code, so overpayments will be earmarked solely for future special assessment charges. Then we'll click OK to save. Our Lockbox cash application table is now set up so that when we process our Lockbox file, payments for this community will only be applied to special assessment charges. Now we just need to save our table. You can see on this window now that the Lockbox cash application table has been activated for Beachside Harbor Homeowners Association, and that the payments will post to Bank 2. If in the future we'd like to deactivate this table, all we'll have to do is click on Setup again, uncheck the Use Lockbox Cash Application Table box, and click Save. And now you can see that the Lockbox cash application table is no longer active for Beachside Harbor. Of course, to finish our training, we need the table active, so we'll just select the community again, click Setup, check our box to activate the table again, and then click Save. Now we'll close this window and import our Lockbox file. To do so, we need to click on the drop-down arrow next to Lockbox file name, then find our Lockbox folder, select our Lockbox file, and click Open. Finally, we'll click Process Files, which allows TOPS to read the Lockbox file so that we can see all of the payment information that it contains. This particular file is in the standard TOPS format, so we'll just click OK to continue processing the file. We can see that our Lockbox file contains the payments for 4 communities. When we post this file, the payments for Beachside Harbor will apply to the special assessment charges, and the payments for the other communities will follow their standard cash application tables. But Chessman Community Association also has a special assessment, and I'm not sure if this file has special assessment payments in it or not. We'll need to dive a little deeper into this community's file to see. So let's double-click on Chessman Community Association. I can tell, just by looking at the payment amounts, that we've got a mixture in here. Some payments are just the special assessment, some payments are just the maintenance fee, and some payments contain both, with maybe a late fee thrown in there too. In this instance, our best bet is to bring this community's payments in as an unposted cash batch. This will allow us to open the batch in AR and make adjustments to the payment distribution owner by owner before posting the payments to the system. Now we'll just click Post, enter in our receipt date, and click OK. TOPS then produces a report which displays the information about each owner's payment along with the number of the AR batch that was created. As you can see, that community no longer displays on this screen because we've processed their payments. It's important to note that you can also create unposted cash batches from the main screen here, but that will create an AR cash receipt batch for each community. Since the payments for the other communities can be handled by the cash application tables, there's no need to do that. Our next step, then, is to post the remainder of the file. To do that, we'll click Post and Deposit, and then click Post. Next, we'll enter our deposit date, and since these are all owner payments, we'll want to be sure to check this box so none of them gets applied to our rental accounts. Then we'll click OK. TOPS will then produce the Post and Deposit report, which shows all of our owner payments and their distributions. You can see on the Beachside Harbor report that our payments have been distributed to our C2 special assessment and prepaid codes. And that completes the posting of our Lockbox file. Now, let's switch into Beachside Harbor to confirm that their payments did in fact post correctly. Now that we're in Beachside Harbor, we'll click on AR, Owner Balances, and then look up an owner whose payment was in that Lockbox file. You can see from their balance summary that there are no special assessment charges outstanding. Clicking on the History button to view this owner's accounting history, shows that even though this owner has outstanding assessment and parking charges, today's payment was applied to the special assessment charges based on our Lockbox cash application table. Now let's switch into our other community and take care of the unposted cash receipt batch that we created because we had a combination of payments in the Lockbox file. To open up the cash receipt batch, we'll go to AR, Cash Receipts, and then click Cash Receipts. Now we'll click on the drop-down arrow next to batch number to find our open batch, and click OK to select it. Next we'll click OK on this window to open the batch, enter our receipt date, and then click OK. I know that payments of $100 are for the special assessment, so let's take a look at the transaction for account 1000103, Phillips. Yep, there's the $100 special assessment charge, but this payment, based on our standard cash application table, is being applied to the association fee instead. In order to change the distribution of this payment, we'll click on the Clear Distribution button, then click the Distribution column next to the Special Assessment charge, and enter our $100 payment amount here. Now we'll just click OK to save this change, and then close this window to go back to our batch. Let's do another one. Account 1100106 Smith is also showing a $100 payment, so we'll select that transaction and click OK to view the details. Yep, this one is distributed incorrectly too, so we'll clear the distribution and enter the $100 payment into the special assessment distribution area. Then we'll click OK to save and close this window to go back to our batch. At this point, we would just continue redistributing the payments as needed, and then once that's completed, post our batch. Let's take a look at the posting report. On the report, you can see the two payments that we redistributed. Now we'll just make our deposit, which comes with its own report. This report also shows the redistributed transactions. Our entire Lockbox file has now been processed and all payments have been distributed to the correct charges for the owners within each community. This completes our TOPS Professional Lockbox Payment Distribution course. Thank you.